In a previous video, I spoke about Alexander Peden and how he was buried twice. If you have not watched that video, you can find it on my YouTube page. In this video, I want to tell a few more stories about Alexander. By way of a brief reminder, Alexander Peden was one of the most popular preachers of a group known as the Covenanters, people who lived according to the National Covenant, which stated that those who followed it were bound to worship according to the presbytery style, and opposed to the changes made by the king in his attempt to be the head of the church. In 1662, King Charles II had Presbyterianism abolished and brought in Episcopalianism, similar to what existed in England, where the king was the head of the church and appointed bishops to lead it. Those ministers who did not accept this were removed from their position. Peden was one of at least 270 ministers who were expelled for opposing these changes. Many of these preachers began to preach in secret, often in remote outdoor locations. This is a picture I took of Peden's Cove, or as I prefer to call it, Peden's Pulpit, located near the Air River in the lovely Air Gorge woodlands. From the top of these carved steps, Peden would preach to crowds gathered on the other side of the river. Since Peden was now an outlaw during a time when Covenanters were at best imprisoned or banished to the American colonies, and could often be killed on sight or hung later, he began to go around in disguise. This mask, made of leather and fabric, the beard and wig probably from real human hair, and containing false teeth, is believed to be an actual disguise used by Peden, is now located in the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh. The mask was discovered in the 1840s in a cottage near Cumnock. The mask and wig, along with a sword said to belong to Peden, had been handed down through the family for generations. This is a copy of the mask on display in the Baird Institute in Cumnock. You might think the mask looks silly and fake, all battered and worn and missing hair, but as someone said, it is over 350 years old, and at that age, you might not look that great either. In June of 1673, while preaching at a gathering, Peden was finally captured and was condemned to imprisonment on the Bass Rock in the middle of the Firth of Forth, a most unpleasant place to be confined. He was held there for over 4 years, and then was transferred to the Edinburgh Tolbooth. In December of 1678, he, along with 60 others, were sentenced to banishment to the American colony of Virginia. Peden was often referred to as Prophet Peden because of his many prophecies. There is recorded testimony that he prophesied to his fellow prisoners that if we were once at London, we will be set at liberty. Earlier, he is recorded as saying that there is no ship that has been built that will be able to take him to Virginia. The captain of the ship in London, who was to take them to Virginia, had thought that they were robbers and thieves, but when he found out that they were being banished for religious beliefs, he had them released, and Peden and the others were able to make their way back to Scotland. Peden spent the rest of his life preaching in various parts of Scotland and in Ireland, before dying of illness at about age 60 at his brother's farm. What happened next to his body you can hear about in my previous video. But for now, have a blessed day.